You don't need a $3,000 camera or a $1,500 lens to take professional quality photos. In fact, the difference you will notice between a photo taken with an entry-level DSLR camera plus the kit lens and the same photo taken with the Canon 5D Mark III, for example, is minimal compared to the difference you'll notice between one photo expertly edited in Photoshop and the same that wasn't. If you already have Photoshop, you can download a free trial for 30 days BTW. You can improve your photos dramatically by learning how to properly color correct and color grade. Then, you can take your photos to a whole new level if you can master the art of what we call photo manipulation, compositing and retouching. By mastering those techniques, you will be able to turn your photos into digital art. Some sites are selling their tutorials $25 plus a piece, at only $5 per tutorial. When you join this site, you pay a one-time fee of not $37, only $27, limited time offer, or a lifetime membership which gives you access to all tutorials. Learn Photo Editing System have 33 professional Photoshop tutorials. How to create a cartoon character with photo manipulation and retouching. How to make facial features pop out with retouching. How to make your portraits look out of this world. How to change the lighting in a photo. How to glam up a budget photo shoot with editing. How to create a surreal-looking character with advanced retouching techniques. How to turn your photos into high-impact magazine ads. How to give your portraits the video game look. How to create more impactful portraits. How to turn a girl into a surreal character. How to create stylized black and white portraits. How to add an enchanted atmosphere to your photos. How to create breathtaking images. How to create a fantasy environment with photo manipulation. How to turn a daytime scene into a night scene. How to turn your photo into a flashy poster ad. How to retouch your portraits like the pros. How to give a photo a cool grungy desaturated look. How to do an extreme makeover digitally in Photoshop. How to bring out colors and details in your photos. How to change the look of a dull photo with color grading. How to make the most out of your raw photos. How to create a lightbox for pocket change. Digital painting for beginners. How to paint with a mouse. How to create fantasy characters in Photoshop. How to make a portrait pop out of the screen. How to transform your portraits with color grading. How to create a zombie-infested city. How to improve the look of your wedding photos. Learning all the ways you can edit your photos and images is like someone that finally learns the proper drawing techniques. Before, the person was making interesting doodles. Now he or she is creating works of art. The talent was there, but it was not fully utilized. And it's the same thing with digital art and photo editing. Once you learn the proper methods, you then unleash the creativity in you that couldn't fully be expressed before. So don't wait, get the knowledge and start creating stunning images today by becoming a member of Learn Photo Editing Program. If you want to discount for Learn Photo Editing Program, please at first visit my blog How to Learn Photo Edit in gz.blogspot.com.